The airport was packed. People rushed past in every direction, dragging suitcases, checking phones, complaining about delays. Nobody seemed to notice the young woman standing near gate 47, swaying back and forth with a baby strapped to her chest. Her name was Rebecca, and she was running on 2 hours of sleep. Maybe less. She'd lost count somewhere between the 3 a.m. wake-up call and the taxi ride to the airport. The baby, little Lily, was finally quiet. Finally. After screaming through security, crying during boarding, and wailing for most of the 3-hour flight, Rebecca's arms ached from bouncing her. Her back hurt from the awkward way she'd been sitting, trying to keep Lily comfortable while cramped in that tiny airplane seat. "Ma'am, you need to move along. You're blocking the gate area." Rebecca looked up at the airline employee, a woman with a tight smile and tired eyes. "Sorry," she mumbled, adjusting the diaper bag that was sliding off her shoulder. "I'm going, but where?" She still had to get to baggage claim, then somehow get her luggage, then find her car in that massive parking garage, then drive home, then feed Lily. Then maybe, just maybe, she could fall apart. Not yet, though. Not here. She started walking, each step feeling heavier than the last. The diaper bag kept slipping. Her purse dug into her other shoulder. She'd packed light, or tried to, but everything you need for a baby weighs a ton. Diapers, wipes, extra clothes, bottles, formula, blankets, toys to keep her entertained. It added up fast. A businessman bumped into her without apologizing, his eyes glued to his phone. Rebecca stumbled slightly but caught herself. Lily stirred against her chest, making a small whimpering sound. "Please don't wake up, not yet. Just a little longer." "Please," Rebecca whispered, gently patting Lily's back. "Please sleep, baby girl. Mama's almost got us home." The walk to baggage claim felt like miles. Her feet hurt in the flats she'd chosen because they were easy to slip off at security. Everything hurt, really. Her whole body felt like it was held together by coffee and willpower, and she'd run out of coffee 2 hours ago. When she finally reached baggage claim, she wanted to cry. The crowd was 3 people deep around the conveyor belt. Suitcases circled endlessly, and everyone seemed to be in a hurry, pushing and shoving to grab their bags. How was she supposed to get through that? Rebecca positioned herself as close as she could get, watching for her bags. She'd checked 2. 1 big suitcase with her clothes, another with her mother's things. The things she'd gone to pack up. The things that were all she had left. Her mother had died 8 days ago. Suddenly, a heart attack in the middle of the night. By the time Rebecca got the call, it was already over. She'd flown out the next day, leaving her husband Tom at home because someone had to work. Someone had to keep the paycheck coming. They couldn't both take off, not with the baby, not with their bills. So Rebecca had gone alone. Sorted through her mother's apartment alone, made funeral arrangements alone, sat in that church with Lily on her lap, surrounded by her mother's friends, feeling like she was watching everything through thick glass. Now she was back, and she just wanted to get home. But first she had to get those bags there. The blue suitcase appeared on the belt. Rebecca took a breath and moved forward, trying to time it right. If she could just reach out and grab it while keeping Lily secure, but someone else got there first, blocking her path. Then another bag came and another person grabbed it. The blue suitcase kept going around the bend, out of reach. Rebecca's eyes stung. She was not going to cry, not here, not in front of all these people. She tried again when the bag came back around. This time she got closer, her hand reaching out. Just a little further. The bag was heavy, she could tell. She'd have to really pull to get it off the belt. But if she pulled too hard, she might lose her balance. Might fall forward. Might hurt Lily. The thought made her freeze. She couldn't risk it. She pulled her hand back and watched the bag circle away again. "You need help?" Rebecca turned to see an elderly woman looking at her with kind eyes. "I can watch your baby if you need to grab your bag, honey." The offer was sweet, but Rebecca shook her head. She didn't know this woman. Couldn't just hand over her daughter to a stranger, no matter how grandmotherly she looked. "Thank you, but I've got it." The woman nodded and moved on, and Rebecca felt a pang of guilt. She was just trying to help, but Rebecca couldn't trust, couldn't let go. Not now. The blue suitcase came around again, then again. Each time, Rebecca tried to figure out the physics of it, how to grab it without dropping anything else, without waking Lily, without falling. She was so focused on the blue suitcase that she almost missed the second one, the black one with the yellow ribbon tied to the handle. Her mother's things, Both bags were on the belt now, circling, taunting her. Rebecca felt the tears coming and couldn't stop them this time. They just started rolling down her cheeks hot and fast. She was so tired, so incredibly tired, and everything felt impossible. A man in a suit walked past, gave her a quick glance, then looked away. A teenage girl with headphones didn't even notice. The world kept moving around her and nobody saw her standing there, falling apart. Maybe she could ask someone. Just walk up to someone and say, "Excuse me, could you help me grab those bags?" But her throat was tight and the words wouldn't come. And what if they said no? What if they looked at her like she was a burden? She'd gotten enough of those looks on the plane. When Lily cried, when she'd had to change a diaper in that tiny bathroom, when she'd asked the flight attendant for warm water for a bottle. Every look said the same thing. You and your baby are an inconvenience. Rebecca adjusted Lily against her chest, feeling the warm weight of her daughter. At least Lily was still sleeping. At least that was something. She'd just have to wait. Wait until the crowd thinned out. Until she had more room. Until she could figure out how to make this work. She always figured it out eventually. That's what you did when you were a mom. You figured it out. The bag circled past again, and again. Rebecca wiped her eyes with the back of her hand and took a shaky breath. She could do this. She'd just buried her mother. She'd flown across the country with an 8-month-old baby. She'd held it together through the funeral, through packing up a lifetime of memories, through saying goodbye. She could grab 2 stupid suitcases. The blue one was coming around again. Rebecca stepped closer, calculating. She'd use her right hand. Keep her left arm under Lily for support. She'd have to bend at the knees, not the waist. Pull fast but steady. She reached out, fingers stretching toward the handle. Almost there. Just a little more. Her fingers brushed the handle. Then someone else's hand covered hers, firm and blocking. Not that, a man's voice said. Rebecca's head snapped up. A man stood beside her, his hand covering hers on the suitcase handle. He was tall, probably in his 50s, wearing an expensive-looking suit that screamed business class. His hair was gray at the temples, and his watch probably cost more than her car payment. "Excuse me?" Rebecca pulled her hand back, confused and a little defensive. "Who was this guy? You're not carrying those." His voice was calm but firm. Not asking. Stating a fact. Rebecca blinked. What?" The man reached past her and pulled the blue suitcase off the belt like it weighed nothing. Then he stood there waiting as the black suitcase with the yellow ribbon came around. He grabbed that one too, setting both bags on the ground beside him. "Which way are you parked?" he asked, looking at her directly now. Rebecca's mind was racing. Was this some kind of scam? Was he going to steal her bags? But he was already holding them, just standing there calmly like this was the most normal thing in the world. I can manage." The words came out automatically, even though they both knew it wasn't true. The man's expression softened just a little. "I'm sure you can. But you don't have to. Name's David. Where's your car?" David, okay, he had a name. That was something. Rebecca looked at him more carefully. His eyes were kind, not threatening. He wasn't standing too close. Wasn't being weird about it, just offering to help. When was the last time someone had offered to help? "Terminal parking," Rebecca heard herself say. "Level 3. David nodded and started pulling both suitcases toward the exit. Just like that. Like it was decided. Rebecca stood frozen for a second, watching him walk away with all her belongings. Then her brain kicked in and she hurried after him, adjusting Lily in the carrier. "Wait, you really don't have to do this," she called out. David glanced back at her. "I know, that was it. Just I know." And he kept walking. They moved through the automatic doors into the parking garage. The air was cooler here and Rebecca felt goosebumps rise on her arms. Lily shifted against her chest, making a small sound, and Rebecca's hand automatically went to her back, rubbing gentle circles. "Please don't wake up," she whispered. "Just a little longer, baby." David slowed his pace, matching her slower steps. He didn't say anything, didn't rush her, just walked beside her, pulling both heavy suitcases like they were filled with feathers. They reached the elevator and David pressed the button. The silence felt awkward. Rebecca felt like she should say something, but what? "Thank you" seemed too small. "Why are you doing this?" seemed rude. The elevator dinged and the doors opened. They stepped inside, and Rebecca pressed the button for level 3. The doors closed and they stood there in that weird elevator quiet where you're too close to a stranger but can't really escape. How old? David asked, nodding toward Lily. 8 months, Rebecca replied. Her voice sounded tired even to her own ears. Good age, David said with a slight smile. Tough age, too. I remember when my daughter was that small. He paused, his eyes going distant for a moment. Seems like yesterday and a lifetime ago all at once. Rebecca felt something relax in her chest. He got it. He understood. The elevator opened on level 3 and Rebecca led the way, scanning the rows of cars. Her old Honda was parked in the far corner. Of course it was. She'd gotten here early that morning when the garage was mostly empty and had to park in the back. It's the gray Honda, she said, pointing. The one that looks like it's seen better days. David didn't comment on the car, didn't show any judgment on his face. He just walked to it and waited while Rebecca dug through her purse for keys. Her hands were shaking a little as she pressed the unlock button. The trunk popped open and David carefully placed both suitcases inside. Rebecca stood there holding Lily close, feeling overwhelmed by this simple act of kindness. Thank you, she finally said. Really? You didn't have to do any of this. David closed the trunk and turned to face her. My wife, he started, then paused like he was choosing his words carefully. 23 years ago, she was in an airport with our newborn. I was away on business. Couldn't be there. He looked down at his hands, then back at Rebecca. A stranger helped her, carried her bags, walked her to her car, made sure she was okay. She told me about it when I got home, and I've never forgotten how I felt hearing that story. How did you feel? Rebecca asked quietly. Grateful, David said. And guilty. Grateful someone was there when I couldn't be. Guilty because I realized how many times I'd walked past struggling parents in airports, train stations, grocery stores. How many times I'd looked away because it was easier than stopping. Rebecca felt tears threatening again. She swallowed hard, trying to keep them back. After that, David continued, I promised myself I'd stop. Every time I saw someone who needed help, I'd be the stranger who helped them. Because someone was that stranger for my family. Rebecca's voice cracked. That's really beautiful. David shrugged, looking almost embarrassed. It's just the right thing to do. Lily chose that moment to wake up. Her face scrunched up, her mouth opened, and a cry started building. Rebecca could hear it coming like a train. Oh no, she muttered, bouncing gently. Come on, sweet girl. Not yet, but Lily was done sleeping, done being quiet. The cry erupted, loud and angry and impossible to ignore. Sorry, Rebecca said over the noise, even though she knew she didn't need to apologize. She's probably hungry, and tired, and mad at me for putting her on a plane. David smiled. Don't apologize. Babies cry. It's their job. Your job is to get home safely and take care of her, which is exactly what you're doing. Rebecca started unbuckling the car seat to get Lily settled, but her hands were clumsy with exhaustion. The straps tangled. Lily's crying got louder. Everything felt like too much. Hey, David said gently. Take a breath. You're doing fine. Rebecca stopped and actually took a breath. Then another one. Lily was still crying, but Rebecca's hands were steadier now. She got the car seat unbuckled and carefully transferred Lily from the carrier. The baby's face was red and scrunched up, tears streaming down her cheeks. I know, baby. I know, Rebecca murmured. We're almost home. She got Lily buckled into the car seat and pulled out a pacifier from the diaper bag. Lily took it, still fussing but a little calmer. Rebecca closed the back door and turned to David. I don't know how to thank you, she said. This week it's been the hardest week of my life. And people have mostly just... She trailed off, not wanting to complain. Been unhelpful? David finished for her. Rebecca nodded. On the plane, people kept giving me these looks. Like Lily and I were ruining their day by existing. One guy actually asked the flight attendant if he could change seats. Said he couldn't work with a baby crying nearby. David's jaw tightened. People forget they were babies once, too. Yeah. Rebecca felt the emotion rising again. And I just buried my mother 3 days ago. I had to pack up her whole apartment by myself, sort through 40 years of her life, and I had to do it with an 8-month-old baby. And nobody offered to help. Not one person. The words tumbled out before she could stop them. She hadn't meant to say all that. Hadn't meant to dump her problems on this stranger. I'm sorry, she said quickly. You don't need to hear all this. Don't apologize, David said firmly. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry you had to do that alone. And I'm sorry people weren't there for you when you needed them. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a business card. Handed it to Rebecca. She looked down at it. The card was simple but expensive looking. David Chen, CEO, Chen Industries. There was a phone number and an email address. Rebecca's eyes widened. "You're a CEO?" "Among other things," David said. "But that's not why I'm giving you that card." Rebecca stared at the business card in her hand. CEO. This man was a CEO of what looked like a major company, and he'd just carried her bags through an airport parking garage. "Why are you giving me this?" she asked, genuinely confused. David leaned against the car next to hers, his posture relaxed. "Because sometimes life gets hard. Sometimes you need help and don't know where to turn. That number goes directly to my assistant, Catherine. If you ever need anything, job resources, references, connections to support services, you call her. She knows to help anyone who contacts her with that card." Rebecca looked from the card to David and back again. "You do this for random people at airports?" "Not just airports," David said with a small smile. "Grocery stores, coffee shops, wherever I see someone who needs help. I've handed out maybe 50 of those cards in the past 5 years. And people actually call? Some do, some don't. That's okay either way. But the ones who do call, Catherine takes care of them. She's found people jobs, connected them with counselors, helped them access food banks, childcare resources, legal aid, whatever they need." Rebecca felt her throat tighten again. "That's incredible." "It's necessary," David corrected gently. "We live in a world where people are struggling and most of us just walk past it. We tell ourselves someone else will help, or that it's not our problem. But what if we all just stopped and helped when we could?" From inside the car, Lily started crying again, louder this time. The pacifier had fallen out. Rebecca opened the back door and leaned in, trying to soothe her daughter while holding back her own tears. "Shh, baby girl. Mama's here. We're going home soon." But Lily was beyond comfort now. She was hungry and tired and had reached her limit. Her face was bright red and her little fists waved in the air. "She needs to eat," Rebecca said, her voice shaking. "I should have fed her before the flight landed, but I thought I could make it home first. Stupid. I'm so stupid." "You're not stupid," David said firmly. "You're exhausted and grieving and doing your best. That's not stupid. That's human." Rebecca pulled the diaper bag toward her, digging through it for a bottle and formula. Her hands were shaking so badly she could barely open the formula container. Some of it spilled onto the parking garage floor. "No, no, no," she muttered, trying to scoop it back up even though she knew it was useless. "That's expensive. I can't just waste it." "Rebecca." David's voice cut through her panic. "Look at me." She looked up and his eyes were steady and kind. "Take a breath. You have enough formula. Your daughter will be fed. You will get home. Everything is going to be okay." Rebecca nodded, blinking back tears. She took another breath and tried again with the bottle. This time her hands were steadier. She got the formula mixed, tested the temperature on her wrist like she'd done 1,000 times before, and handed it to Lily. The crying stopped immediately as Lily latched onto the bottle. Blessed silence filled the parking garage. Rebecca let out a long breath and leaned against the car. "Sorry you had to see that meltdown." "Nothing to apologize for," David said. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure. Do you have support at home? Family, friends, someone who can help you?" Rebecca thought about Tom, her husband. Sweet, well-meaning Tom, who tried his best but worked 60 hours a week at the warehouse, who came home exhausted every night, too tired to do much more than eat dinner and fall asleep on the couch. "My husband will be home later," she said carefully. "He's good, he tries. But he works a lot. We need his income, so you're carrying most of this alone," David finished. Rebecca shrugged. "That's just how it is for a lot of moms, right? We figure it out. Doesn't mean it should be that way." Lily was drinking her bottle contentedly now, her eyes starting to droop again. Rebecca watched her daughter, feeling that familiar mix of love and exhaustion that defined her days. "My mother used to help," Rebecca said quietly. "Before she died. She'd come over twice a week, watch Lily so I could sleep or just take a shower in peace. She'd bring groceries sometimes or cook dinner. Little things that made everything easier. And now she's gone," David said softly. "And now she's gone," Rebecca repeated. "And I don't know how to do this without her. I don't know how to be a mom without my mom." That sounds silly, right? I'm 29 years old. I should be able to handle this. It's not silly at all. David's voice was gentle. I lost my father 10 years ago. I was 43, successful, had my own family, and I still felt like a lost kid, still wanted to call him and ask for advice. The age doesn't matter. Losing a parent changes everything. Rebecca wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. She couldn't believe she was having this conversation with a complete stranger in a parking garage. But somehow it felt easier than talking to the people who actually knew her. They expected her to be okay. Expected her to bounce back. David didn't expect anything. The funeral was hard, she continued, the words flowing now. Everyone kept saying things like, she's in a better place, or at least she didn't suffer. And I know they meant well, but I just wanted to scream that I didn't care if she was in a better place. I wanted her here. I wanted her to meet Lily. Really meet her, not just the first few months. I wanted my daughter to know her grandmother. Those first few months count, David said. Your mother knew Lily, she held her, loved her. That matters, I know. But it wasn't enough time. 40 years with my mom wasn't enough time. How is that fair? It's not, David said simply. It's not fair at all. And you don't have to pretend it is. Lily had finished her bottle and was asleep again, milk-drunk and peaceful. Rebecca gently took the empty bottle and set it in the cup holder. I should get her home, she said, though she didn't move. Something about this moment, this conversation, felt important. Like if she left now, she'd lose something she couldn't get back. Before you go, David said, I want to tell you something. When my wife had our daughter, she struggled. Postpartum depression, they called it. But back then, people didn't talk about it as much. She felt alone, broken, like she was failing at something that was supposed to come naturally. He paused, his expression distant. One day I came home from work and found her sitting on the bathroom floor just crying. She said she couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't be the mother our daughter needed. Rebecca's heart clenched. She'd had days like that. Days where she sat on the bathroom floor and wondered if she was ruining her daughter's life just by being her mother. What did you do? She asked. I took a leave from work. 2 months. Stayed home, helped her, made sure she saw a therapist. My business partners thought I was crazy. Said I was throwing away my career. But you know what? The company survived without me. And my wife got better, and my daughter grew up with a mother who was healthy and present. David looked at Rebecca directly now. I'm telling you this because I want you to know that asking for help isn't weakness. Taking time to grieve isn't failure. You've been through something traumatic and you're allowed to struggle. But I don't have 2 months to take off, Rebecca said. I don't have a high-powered job or savings or any of that. I have bills and a baby and a husband who's barely keeping us afloat as it is. I know, David said, and I'm not saying your situation is the same as ours was. Every family is different. But that card in your hand, that's a lifeline if you need it. Maybe you'll never call. Maybe you'll throw it away the second you get home. But maybe one day you'll need something and you'll remember that someone told you it's okay to ask. Rebecca looked down at the card again. The paper felt thick and real in her hand. A promise maybe, or at least a possibility. Why do you care so much? She asked. You don't know me. You don't owe me anything. David smiled, and for the first time it reached his eyes completely. Because 23 years ago someone cared about my wife when I couldn't be there. And that changed how I see the world. We're all connected, even when we don't realize it. Your mother helped people in her life, didn't she? Rebecca nodded. She was always the first person to bring food when someone was sick, or to babysit for free so parents could have a date night. She couldn't afford much, but she gave what she could. Then you know exactly why I'm doing this, David said. I'm just passing on what someone gave my family. And maybe someday when you're on the other side of this hard time, you'll pass it on too. Rebecca slipped the business card into her wallet, tucking it behind her driver's license where she wouldn't lose it. She wasn't sure if she'd ever use it, but something told her to keep it safe. Thank you, she said again, knowing the words didn't cover what she was feeling. For everything. For the help, for the talk, for just seeing me, David nodded. Take care of yourself, Rebecca. And that beautiful daughter of yours. He started to walk away, then paused and turned back. One more thing. The grief you're feeling, it doesn't follow a timeline. People will expect you to be over it in a few weeks or months. Don't listen to them. Take whatever time you need. Rebecca felt the tears coming again, but this time she let them fall. How long did it take you? With your father? I'm still not over it, David admitted. 10 years later, and there are still days I reach for the phone to call him. Still moments where something happens and I think, Dad would want to hear about this. The grief doesn't go away. You just learn to carry it differently. That's not very encouraging, Rebecca said with a watery laugh. No, David agreed, but it's honest. And I think right now you need honesty more than encouragement." He was right. Everyone else had been feeding her platitudes and empty comfort. David was the first person to just tell her the truth. It hurt, but in a way that felt clean. Real. "Go home," David said gently. "Rest. And remember, you're not alone even when it feels like you are." This time when he walked away, Rebecca didn't call him back. She watched him disappear into the elevator. This strange guardian angel in an expensive suit who'd appeared exactly when she needed him. She looked through the car window at Lily, still sleeping peacefully in her car seat. Her daughter's face was relaxed, one little hand curled near her cheek. So innocent, so completely dependent on Rebecca to figure everything out. "Okay, baby girl," Rebecca whispered. "Let's go home." The drive home was quiet. Rebecca kept the radio off, enjoying the silence after the chaos of the airport. Her mind kept replaying the conversation with David. His kindness, his honesty, the way he'd seen her struggling and just decided to help without making her feel small or incapable. When had that become so rare? When had basic human kindness become something extraordinary? She thought about her mother again. About all the times her mom had stopped to help someone at the grocery store reach something on a high shelf, or had given directions to lost tourists, or had complimented a stranger's baby in line at the post office. Little moments of connection that her mother had scattered through. Her days like seeds. Your grandma would have liked him, Rebecca said to sleeping Lily. She would have said he has a good heart. The apartment building came into view, and Rebecca felt a wave of relief mixed with dread. Relief to be home, dread at everything waiting for her inside. Unpacking, sorting through her mother's things, figuring out how to keep living when part of her felt frozen in that moment she got the phone call. She parked and sat in the car for a minute, gathering her energy. Lily was still asleep. Maybe Rebecca could get her inside and into the crib before she woke up. Maybe she could have 10 minutes to just sit down before the next crisis hit. But when she opened the apartment door, she found Tom home early. He was standing in the kitchen and the smell of cooking food filled the space. Spaghetti, Rebecca realized. He was making dinner. "Hey," Tom said, turning from the stove. His face lit up when he saw her, then immediately shifted to concern. "You look exhausted. Come sit down. I've got everything." Rebecca wanted to cry again, but she was so tired of crying. Instead, she carefully transferred Lily from the carrier to Tom's arms. He took their daughter with practiced ease, cradling her close and pressing a kiss to her forehead. "How was the flight?" he asked. "Long," Rebecca said, sinking into a chair at their small kitchen table. Lily cried most of the way. "I was that mom everyone hates." "You're not that mom," Tom said firmly. "You're a mom on a plane with a baby. People can deal with it." Rebecca managed a small smile. This was why she'd married him. He might not always know what to say, might work too much and come home too tired, but his heart was always in the right place. "I got off work early," Tom continued. "Told my boss it was an emergency. He wasn't happy, but I didn't care. You've been gone a week dealing with everything alone. Figured the least I could do was have dinner ready." "Thank you," Rebecca said, meaning it. "How much trouble are you in?" Tom shrugged. "Doesn't matter. You matter more." They ate dinner together, Lily still sleeping in Tom's arms. Rebecca told him about the funeral, about sorting through her mother's apartment, about the flight home. She didn't mention David yet. That felt like something private, something she needed to hold on to for herself a little longer. "I don't know how to do this," Rebecca admitted, setting down her fork. "How to move forward, how to be okay when everything feels wrong." "You don't have to be okay," Tom said. "Not yet. Maybe not for a long time. But we'll figure it out together. You work 60 hours a week. You can't be here to help me figure it out. Then I'll cut back my hours. We need the money, Tom, you know we do." He was quiet for a moment, looking down at Lily. "We'll find a way. Maybe I can find a different job. Something with better hours, better pay. Or maybe we look into daycare assistants or..." "Or what?" Rebecca asked, feeling the hopelessness creeping in. "We're barely making it as it is. Every month is a struggle. And now without my mom to help..." She couldn't finish the sentence. Without her mom, everything was harder. The free babysitting was gone. The help with groceries was gone. The emotional support was gone. Rebecca felt like she'd lost her safety net and was now walking a tightrope with her baby in her arms. Tom reached across the table and took her hand. "We'll figure it out. That's what we do." We always figure it out. Rebecca wanted to believe him, but she was so tired of figuring things out, tired of just barely surviving, tired of feeling like she was one emergency away from everything falling apart. Later that night, after Tom had fallen asleep and Lily was down in her crib, Rebecca found herself standing in the bathroom, staring at her reflection. She looked older than 29, tired, worn down. She pulled out her wallet and took out David's business card, stared at it in the dim light. Catherine. She read aloud softly. Direct line for assistance. What would she even say if she called? Hi, I'm a struggling mom who met your boss in an airport parking garage. It sounded crazy, but David had said Catherine would help, that she'd helped others before. Rebecca put the card back in her wallet. Not tonight. Maybe not ever. But it was there if she needed it. A lifeline, like David had said. Just knowing it existed made her feel a little less alone. She checked on Lily one more time before getting into bed. Her daughter was sleeping peacefully, one arm thrown over her head, completely trusting that someone would be there when she woke up. That someone would feed her, change her, keep her safe. I'm trying, baby girl, Rebecca whispered. I'm really trying. As she lay in bed next to Tom, listening to his steady breathing, Rebecca made herself a promise. When she got through this, when she made it to the other side of the grief and exhaustion and struggle, she would help someone else. She'd stop when she saw someone struggling. She'd be the person who helped carry the bags. She'd pass it on, just like David had said. Because maybe that's how the world got better. Not through big dramatic gestures, but through small acts of kindness passed from person to person, like a flame lighting candles in the dark. Rebecca closed her eyes and, for the first time in days, felt something close to hope. It was small and fragile, but it was there. Tomorrow would be hard, and the day after that, and probably for a long time. But she wouldn't face it completely alone. She had Tom, she had Lily, and somewhere in the city, she had a stranger named David who'd reminded her that kindness still existed in the world. That had to count for something. She fell asleep thinking about her mother, about David, about the card in her wallet, and about the promise she'd made to herself. When the time came when she saw someone who needed help, she wouldn't look away. She'd stop. She'd help. She'd pass it on. 6 months had passed since that day in the airport. 6 months of learning how to live without her mother. 6 months of sleepless nights and small victories and moments where Rebecca thought she might not make it through. But she did make it through, one day at a time. Now Rebecca stood in the grocery store, Lily sitting in the cart, babbling happily at 14 months old. She was saying a few words now. Mama and Dada and up, and something that sounded like cookie but might have just been baby nonsense. Rebecca was comparing prices on pasta sauce when she heard it. A sound she knew too well. A baby crying, but not just fussy crying. That desperate, overwhelmed crying that meant everyone was at their limit. She looked up and saw a young woman a few aisles over. Early 20s maybe, Hispanic, with dark circles under her eyes that Rebecca recognized from her own mirror. She was holding a screaming toddler on her hip while trying to dig through her purse with her free hand. A older child, maybe 4, stood next to her, tugging on her shirt and asking for something. The woman's hands were shaking. Rebecca watched as other shoppers gave the woman dirty looks and moved past quickly. One elderly man shook his head with obvious disapproval. A teenage employee pretended not to notice. Rebecca felt something click inside her. This was it. This was her moment. She pushed her cart toward the woman, Lily watching everything with curious eyes. Hey, Rebecca said gently, approaching slowly so she wouldn't startle her. You okay? The woman looked up and Rebecca saw tears in her eyes. I can't find my card, she said, her voice breaking. I know I put it in here, but I can't find it and my babies need to eat and I just... The toddler on her hip screamed louder, arching his back. The older child started crying too, overwhelmed by the chaos. Okay, Rebecca said calmly. Take a breath. Let's figure this out together. First, is your card the only way you can pay? The woman nodded miserably. I don't carry cash. I'm so stupid. I should have brought cash as backup. You're not stupid, Rebecca said firmly. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to take another breath. I'm going to hold your bag so you can look through your purse properly. And if we can't find the card, I'll cover your groceries today. The woman's eyes went wide. What? No, I can't let you do that. Yes, you can, Rebecca said. How much is your total? Maybe $40? But I can't. $40 is nothing, Rebecca interrupted. I've been where you are. I know what it feels like. Let me help. She took the woman's purse and shopping bags, holding them while the woman did a more thorough search. The toddler was still crying but quieter now, as if he could sense his mother's stress easing slightly. Found it. The woman pulled out her card from a small inner pocket. Oh my God, I found it. It was in the pocket I never use, see? Rebecca smiled. Everything's okay. The woman let out a shaky laugh, wiping her eyes. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm such a mess today. Don't apologize, Rebecca said. We all have those days. What are their names? This is Miguel, the woman said, adjusting the toddler on her hip. And this is Sophia. She gestured to the older child, who had stopped crying and was now staring shyly at Lily. Beautiful names. I'm Rebecca and this is Lily. I'm Anna, the woman said. Thank you for not just walking past me like everyone else. Can I ask you something? Rebecca said. Are you doing okay? Really okay? Anna hesitated, then shook her head. My husband lost his job 3 weeks ago. We're behind on rent. I'm working 2 jobs and my mom usually watches the kids, but she's sick today. So I had to bring them shopping with me and everything just feels impossible. Rebecca knew that feeling. That crushing weight of too many problems and not enough solutions. Come with me, Rebecca said. Let's check out together and then we're going to talk outside for a minute. They paid for their groceries, Anna's hand still trembling slightly as she swiped her card. Outside in the parking lot, Rebecca loaded her groceries into her car while Anna did the same. Miguel had calmed down and was eating crackers from his mom's purse. Sophia was playing with a small toy. Anna, Rebecca said, pulling out her wallet. She removed David's business card and held it out. I want you to take this. Anna looked at the card, confused. Chen Industries, I don't understand. 6 months ago I was you, Rebecca said. Actually, I was worse. I'd just buried my mother. I was traveling alone with my baby. I was falling apart in an airport and a stranger helped me. He gave me this card and told me to call if I ever needed help. Did you call? Anna asked. Rebecca nodded. 2 months ago, when things got really bad, I was having panic attacks. Tom, my husband, was working himself to death. We were drowning. I called the number on that card and a woman named Catherine answered. She got me connected with a counselor who specializes in grief. She found resources for new parents. She even helped Tom find a better job with better hours and better pay. Anna's eyes were wide. Seriously? Seriously. The man who gave me this card, David, he's a CEO. But more than that, he's someone who believes in helping people. His assistant, Catherine, she's dedicated to helping anyone who calls with this card. Resources, job connections, whatever you need. Why are you giving this to me? Anna asked, holding the card carefully like it might disappear. Because someone gave it to me when I needed it. And now I'm passing it forward. Call that number. Tell Catherine that Rebecca Martinez sent you. Tell her what's going on. She'll help. Anna looked down at the card, then back at Rebecca. I don't know what to say. Say you'll call, Rebecca said. Say you'll let someone help you, because you don't have to do everything alone even when it feels like you do. I'll call, Anna promised, her voice thick with emotion. Thank you. Thank you so much. They exchanged phone numbers and Rebecca made Anna promise to text her after she called Catherine. As Rebecca drove home, Lily babbling in the back seat, she felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Purpose. Peace. Like she was finally doing something right. That evening, after Lily was in bed, Rebecca told Tom about meeting Anna at the grocery store. You gave away the card? Tom asked. I did. But I memorized the number first. And I asked Catherine for extra cards when I called her last time. She sent me 5. Tom smiled and pulled her close. Your mom would be proud of you. Rebecca felt tears prick her eyes, but they were different from the grief tears she'd cried for months. These were tears of connection, of hope. I think she would be, Rebecca said softly. I've been thinking about her a lot lately, about all the ways she helped people. I used to think it was just because she was a good person. But now I think it was more than that. I think helping others helped her too, made her feel connected to something bigger, like it's making you feel now, Tom said. Rebecca nodded. I want to do more. I was thinking, maybe I could volunteer somewhere. A women's shelter or a food bank or something. Just a few hours a week. I think that's a great idea, Tom said, and I'll watch Lily while you do it. 2 days later, Rebecca got a text from Anna. I called Catherine. She's helping me find resources and my husband has a job interview next week. I can't believe this is real. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for stopping, Rebecca typed back. Pass it forward when you can. That's all the thanks I need. She thought about David then, wondered if he knew how far his kindness had reached. That card he'd given her in an airport parking garage had changed her life. And now it was changing Anna's life. And someday Anna would help someone else, and the chain would continue. 3 months after that, Rebecca was volunteering at a community center, helping organize a clothing drive. When she saw him, David, he was there with his wife, both of them sorting through donations. Rebecca walked over, her heart pounding. David? He looked up and recognition dawned on his face. Rebecca, from the airport. Yeah, she said, smiling. I wanted to thank you for everything. I called Catherine like you said. She helped me more than you could know. David's wife joined them, and David introduced her as Patricia. This is the young woman I told you about. The one at the airport, Patricia smiled warmly. The one who reminded David why we do this work. I passed on your card, Rebecca said, to a woman who needed it. And I got more cards from Catherine so I can keep passing them on. David's face lit up with genuine joy. That's exactly what I hoped would happen. That's how we change the world. One person helping another who helps another who helps another. My mother used to say something similar, Rebecca said. She'd say kindness is like a stone thrown in water. The ripples keep spreading out, farther than you can see. Your mother was a wise woman, Patricia said. Rebecca felt her throat tighten with emotion. She was. And I'm trying to honor her by being like her, by stopping when I see someone who needs help, by being the person who carries the bags. David understood immediately. He stepped forward and gave Rebecca a brief hug. You're doing great. Keep going. The world needs more people like you. As Rebecca drove home that evening, she thought about everything that had happened since that exhausted, grief-stricken day in the airport. She'd lost her mother. She'd struggled and cried and nearly broken. But she'd also found strength she didn't know she had. She'd learned to ask for help. She'd learned to give help. And most importantly, she'd learned that kindness wasn't just something nice people did. It was a lifeline, a connection, a way of saying, I see your struggle, and you matter. 6 months from now, Anna would stop to help a single dad struggling at a park. That dad would help a teenager who needed a job reference. The teenager would help an elderly woman with her groceries. And on, the ripples spreading out. Each small act of kindness creating waves of change, all because one man stopped in an airport and decided to carry someone's bags, all because Rebecca decided to pass it forward, all because we're all connected even when we forget it, especially when we forget it.